देवी सर्वभूतेषु शक्तिरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मातृरूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। या देवी सर्वभूतेषु मीरारूपेण संस्थिता नमस्तस्यै 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 नमो नमः। पूज्य माँ भगवती, पूज्य Sri Arvind, you all are the chosen children of our Divine Mother. Our march is not a march of traveler, not a passenger. It is definitely and determinantly a march of pilgrimage. It is our pilgrimage. We are pilgrims. And who is pilgrim? Our mind is a pilgrim or our psychic is a pilgrim? Our psychic is a pilgrim because the state of consciousness changes. State of consciousness is mandatorily changed. The state of consciousness is transfigured for transformation. Objective is transformation. Process is transfiguration, which we are unaware because we try to take the cognizance of what is going on within our body and in external world. We are supposed to simultaneously register both this track with our mind. But our mind is not competent enough to comprehend both of them together in toto. That is our barrier. And the new march, that is pilgrimage, his march in Savitri Sri Aurobindo has predicted. His march now soared into an eagle's flight. His march now soared into an eagle's flight. An eagle's flight means it is an ascent. It's not horizontal velocity that is to be taken up. It's not the expansion. Lord Krishna experienced it in his lifetime. Narad was given that experience. When Narad raised doubt, Srimad Bhagavat witnesses. In response to the doubt raised by Narad, Lord Krishna projected this horizontal velocity. I am in the palace of almost all queens in Dwarika, and Narad could see with his own eyes. Now, his march now soared into an eagle's flight. Krishna's march now soared into an eagle's flight. Krishna's march now soared into an eagle's flight to transform and to transfigure the new world and to transform the entire humanity. It means the entire humanity is made pilgrim towards overmanhood. Towards overmanhood. That is on the way to supermanhood. That was another masterpiece written by Satprem. Now, this is one chapter because this is the thesis, this is the practical, and this is the outcome. but outcome is so concrete that we are going to witness this new entry. We are going to witness the new emergence of the new human race, interim race. Overnight, within no time, entire earth will be divine and entire humanity will be divine just within no time, within a fraction of a second. Is not the miracle that is going to take place. But the new avenue, that is avenues beyond, is opened. Master key is with mother. That master key is applied through supramental to her newly created portal for the entire transformation of the human race. Earth and new consciousness is to be so powerfully and dynamically formulated in external world because it has been pre-formulated within her body, because salvation is there in the body. Salvation from death, redemption from death, freedom from death, fraternity amongst the people, fraternity amongst the human tribes, fraternity amongst the nation, and fraternity amongst each and every human class existing on this earth. That is love. And that love was generated, such a horizon, new horizon of this love was generated by mother in her portal, newly created cellular portal in her body. Love in her was wider than the universe, where the whole world could take refuge in her single heart. The entire humanity has been accepted to take shelter in her single heart because entire humanity is now made eligible to receive this de novo boon, this de novo blessing, this de novo new world, new consciousness and new light. The over life. It's not life. Guided and governed by Sattva, Rajas and Tamas. Apara Prakriti as per Srimad Bhagavad Gita. Now this is beyond Srimad Bhagavad Gita, the march of Lord Krishna in the new format, new incarnation of Kalki Narayan. Lord Krishna became Lord Kalki and Radha became Radha perfection, Radha imperfection, Radha in equilibrium with Lord Krishna in the form of Lord Kalki Narayan. This is interim race. And that new interim race is now emerging because 1926 is the remarkable date, 24th of November. Now that 24th of November 1926 is going to be accomplished century on 24th of November 2026. 1 century. After 1 century, that new event is to take place, new dawn is to be arisen. This is the greater dawn of Savitri. This is the greater dawn of Savitri. The yatra of mother, the pilgrimage of mother has started, as we have seen in all previous chapters. While creating new portal in her body, is going to accomplish 1 century. And 1 century of Lord Krishna's Leela in the body of Sri Aurobindo, Lord Krishna's sadhana in the body of Sri Aurobindo and the mother, Lord Krishna's new Ras Leela accomplished in the body of Sri Aurobindo and mother jointly. This is the synthesis of Sri Aurobindo's yoga of ascent and mother's yoga of descent. So this is the de novo reality, de novo velocity. It's not horizontal movement only, it is vertical too, and along with vertical, with the help of the supramental, with the force of the supramental, with the new environment of the supramental, these two velocities, as per Einstein, have got totality. Because it is perfection, have got totality. And perfection in human body achieved by mother, even after Sri Aurobindo. Sri Aurobindo created the base of ascent. Mother created the objective, mother realized the objective of descent, and ascent and descent so synthesized that Ardhanari Nateswar of the Supreme Transcendent has been on the earth in human format, in human existence, in human matter, new consciousness, new psychic, new time and new space on the earth. That is over man. That is over man. And that new existence is going to take place. That is vertical velocity, horizontal velocity, total velocity. Radha is also perfection. Krishna is also perfection. Ardhanari Nateswar invisibly perfect there at this level. Now Ardhanari Nateswar in the form of perfect Radha and perfect Krishna here on earth is new age. Is new age where Radha and Krishna atwined in bliss as one. As one is important, and as one meant for emergence of over man, emergence of beyond man, emergence of man beyond mind, emergence of man beyond mentality. And the mind, new mind, divine mind, mind of light is on the threshold to be emerged in interim race. That is, the interim race will not be race with mentality. Interim race will be race with psychicality. And psychicality is a stage of the mind of light. Psychicality is not the stage of the mind of reaction, mind of conditioning, mind of attachment, mind of what we call calculations. No ego, no attachment, no ignorance, no darkness. So there is no death. There is no death. Life and death. That is the subtitle. First, mother has had countless opportunities to study death. After Sri Aurobindo, mother has got tremendous and innumerable opportunities to study death. This is the experiment of death, living experiment of death, conscious experiment of death. Sri Aurobindo left his body to prepare earth. To prepare earth for what? To prepare earth to give bearing and foundation to this mother's de novo experiment of death. Opportunities to study death, the phenomenon of the corpse. Since her early experiences in Telson, which I had described in another work, one day I asked her whether one can experience death without dying. Satprem writes, what mother learned with Theo, Madame Theo, in Algeria, is to be brought to her rescue now. And on the strength of that phenomenon, that was the part of mother's experience of this experiment of death. And I asked this question, one day I asked her whether one can experience death without dying. It is the new humanity which has no death, and death is there but without dying. Death is under command, death is under control, death is at will. This is the Sri Ganesh of immortality. Death at will is the Sri Ganesh of immortality, and all new souls with new mold, with new velocity, with new spark of the psychic as a spark of new consciousness have been deputed to the earth. They have started coming down on the earth, and they will have what privilege they will have. What privilege? They will be born by parents. They will be born by biological process. But death will be under their command. Death will be under their control. After 90 years, 100 years, they will be facing this new phenomenon as their fortune, as their fortune. This is interim race. And this is over life. It is over life. There are thousands of species of the interim race in between, because 1 century has been completed. Lord Krishna completed his avatar career in this new avatar, which was left out in the time of Mahabharata, is completed now and in 1926, and is still enhanced by Sri Aurobindo in the form of Lord Krishna as Kalki Narayan, and accomplished this programming. So we are fortunate enough to witness interim race as such. With her usual sense of humor, she replied. Mother replied in a humorous way. Certainly, no clue. Certainty. This is going to happen. And at this stage, can we not think of it? Can we dream of it? We can't. He categorically replied, certainly. You can even experience. You doubted many a times with your little understanding, but you can experience it materially if the death is short enough so that doctors don't have the time to pronounce you dead. Death of doctors, death prescribed by doctors, certified by doctors is over. Is over. As eating is under our control, drinking is under our control, death is also similarly under our control, and under the control not of mind, under the control of our psychic. Ichha Mrityu, that has been the new nature of the new interim race over life. Needless to say that mother had little regard for medical science. Mother had very little regard for this medical science, corona branded medical science. In medicine, I am an atheist, mother says. She would tell me laughingly, and I am reminded of Sri Aurobindo too. Sri Aurobindo also gave this opinion. New therapy is needed. New therapy of light is needed. New therapy of consciousness is needed. New therapy of supreme light is needed. New therapy of Ashwapathy is needed. New therapy of Ashwapathy will be the nature of the new interim race. We laugh at the savage for his faith in the medicine man. But how are the civilized less superstitious who have faith in the doctors? Sri Aurobindo writes, the savage finds that when a certain incantation is repeated, when mantra is repeated, he often recovers from a certain disease. he is often recovered from a certain disease. If sound of the mantra can offer recovery more than medicine, more certainly than medicine, then what is medical science? What is medical science? So the limitations of this medical science have to be accepted, and new therapy, inclusive of all different therapies, is required now, because new anatomy is being formulated. Body was not there, bodies were needed not because soul itself was its deathless form. It is the matter of the soul, it is the matter of the consciousness, it is the matter of light that becomes new anatomy. And that is why new therapy is required, because light is the matter, pure light is the matter, infinite light is the matter, immortal light is the matter. So new therapy is required to treat this immortal matter, to once just remold it into a new model, into a new mode, to just root out the disorder, to set right the disorder and put it once again into order. He often recovers from a certain disease. He believes the civilized patient finds that when he does himself according to a certain prescription, he often recovers from a certain disease. He believes. Where is the difference? This is what Sri Aurobindo's quotation long back so presented by him. Satprem quotes it and writes now. Several times mother even had the rather painful experience of dying. So many times mother also had undergone the painful experience of death for a whole night within another person. For the whole night within another person. As if mother was another person while dying, not mother, but had the concrete actual experience of death, not once, many a times. As I mentioned earlier, and then there are those countless little deaths, there are so many little deaths mother had undergone. When going through the web, going through her old world, now she is in another world, now she is in another net, she is in another web. But it is precisely that moment of going from one state to the other which interests us. That is when you get a chance to grasp the secret, when it swings from one state to the other, doctors will list every possible illness which is the cause of, and cardiac arrest which is the cause of, but they know nothing of the reality of the phenomenon as it appears to be the death of the mother. That is what Satprem presumes, that this body of 92, 93 will die, but will not be the common death. Will not be the common death. That is when you get a chance to grasp the secret. When it swings from the state to the other, doctors will list every possible illness which is the cause, and doctor will try to find out the cause of the death of the mother. Apparently, as per old therapy, as per allopathy, as per old system, and as per old science. But they know nothing of the reality of the phenomenon. They might as well be describing a car accident from the number of pebbles on the road. It's extraordinary how all our science is just besides the point, a kind of mechanical caricature of something. It is a mechanical caricature, just like a cartoon. not picture, nor aesthetically perfect picture, not an aesthetically pleasant picture, not aesthetically beautiful life. Beside the point, a kind of mechanical caricature of something that totally escapes it, that totally escapes the medical awareness. Here is one of mother's very first experiences after her first foray out of the web in 1962, as she was still going in and out of the web in a constant and imperceptible back and forth movement. Mother has not only once experienced this transition from one web to another, from mortal web to immortal web, from mortality to immortality many a times. So just as scientists, this experiment of death also verified by mother activating her newly created, newly formulated cellular portal in her body. Mother says, it's a curious feeling. Frequently I visited this new world. Is a curious feeling, a strange perception of the two ways of functioning. Two ways of functioning. One way is the way of mortality functioning. Another way is the way of immortality functioning. But I experience it because I have got these new portals, new design, new pattern in my body, and my cells are so cooperative to me in my new adventure. And that is why the entire yoga, either practiced by mother or practiced by Sri Aurobindo, is adventure of consciousness. It is not the adventure of mind. Functioning which are not superimposed. You can't even say that. The true functioning of the body and the functioning distorted by the individual sense of being separate body, that is human bound, they are almost simultaneous, and that is what makes it so hard to explain. When body is explaining the experience that is beyond body, body is experiencing the new experience beyond body is indescribable. After 1962, mother says, it is as if the consciousness were pulled or pushed or placed in a certain position, and there the wrong functionings insistently appear, meaning that we are back in the web. I was pushed. I tried to push myself, but I was pulled back by old habits of mind, because mind was not replaced by my new mind. Mind was not replaced by my psychicized mind. Mind was not replaced by my inner consciousness taking direct connectivity with the supramental outside. So these are her different angles of experiences which Satprem collected here directly from the agenda's quotations, directly from the statements made by mother consciously, half consciously, unconsciously, but just from the other world. It is as if the consciousness were pulled and pushed or placed in a certain position, and there the wrong functioning insistently appear, meaning that we are back in the web, and they don't appear instantly as a consequence, but rather the consciousness become aware of their existence. But it is the consciousness that becomes aware of its own existence. Psychic becomes aware of its own existence, taking reign of the mind and taking control over the mind, replacing the mind, making mind mindless space, and the Godhead seed might flower in the mindless space. It is the Godhead seed of the mother that starts flowering in the mindless space at the time of so many experiences of death up till now. But then, if the consciousness remains long enough in that position, when my consciousness, mother says, remains in that position that has what is called consequences. The wrong functioning has consequences. When my body was functioning, not cooperating to my newly formulated portal, at that time certain wrong experiences also I have undergone. Satprem I have undergone. So Satprem is quoting, revising the entire programming of the mother, how mother is getting into the new race, how mother living in mortal body just getting herself into the new web, getting herself into the new web of immortality. That we are also supposed to have all such experiences, and as and when we are made to experience such experience a part or a little bit of such experiences, we should not take it for granted that it is not a miracle. It is not a miracle. It is our very start of psychicality over and above our mentality. It is for our study. It is for our guidelines. It is for our mirror, that we can see the very functioning of our psychic over and above mind. That's mind is being controlled by the psychic, mind is being operated by our psychic, and mind is being sidetracked by our psychic. Then we can in this life enter into the new zone of interim race. Little things, physical discomforts, for example, and if the consciousness returns to its true position, that ceases instantly. But sometimes it is like this position and that position. Mother just raises her hand in order to point out that this is my old body having new experience. As I told you, new wine in old body, new wine in old bottle. That is what mother experiences. That is what made me understand the phenomenon. Otherwise I wouldn't understand. But I was also made to understand this phenomenon by the intimation sent to me by Sri Aurobindo's supramental body. Sri Aurobindo's supramental body is providing me guidance, and I was made to understand certain things. I would only see a state of good health followed by a lapse into a state of bad health. Many a times I felt the hygienic condition. Once again I got it automatically, having passed through bitter experiences of ill health, without medicine, without treatment, without any external application. I would only see a state of good health followed by a lapse into a state of bad health. That is not what it is. It is simply everything, all the substance and vibrations follow their normal course. You see, it's only the perception of the consciousness which changes. It is the perception of the new consciousness that changes the perception of my old consciousness, that changes the movement of my old consciousness. So it is the process of transfiguration that has been just launched within my body under the guidance of the supramental intimations from Sri Aurobindo. These are to be collected, these are to be connected, these are to be decoded by us in toto. Then only we can enter into the zone of mother's experience, because mother also was at that time, could not explain so fully that little mind of Satprem also could grasp it in toto. Everything, all the substance and vibrations follow their normal course. Everything, perception and vibrations follow natural course. You see, it's only the perceptions of the consciousness which changes, which means that if we push that knowledge to the extreme. That is, if we generalize it, then life, what we generally call life, physical life, the life of the body, life of my old body, and death are the same thing. At that time also, in the initial stage of my sadhana as such, I felt that death and life are the same thing. What I feel at the time of death, what I feel at the time of revival of life, not the same life, revival of life. As I could revive my life, I could gain it back. So I felt death, but I could revive that death also into life again in the same body. In the same body, many a times. So that is the perception I had undergone, and this is my experience. Physical life, the life of the body, and death are the same thing. They are simultaneous. It's only the consciousness which does this or that, which goes this way or that way. I don't know if I am making sense, but it is fantastic. I don't understand whether you get something sensibly from my utterances, you get something comprehensible from my utterances or not. I don't understand. I don't sense it out from your mind. Looking at you, Satprem, see the intimacy that is felt between Satprem and Mother at this level. At the level of death and life, alternated by one another. So alternated by one another. Fantastic. Mother says it is fantastic. It's fantastic. There is no such thing as death. Satprem writes, there is no such thing as death. As Mother says, I have seen death many a times. I have revived my life also many a times. And you can see still I am living before you at the age of 92. It's fantastic. There is no such thing as death. Satprem sums up the grand total. This is the grand total I could get. I could understand Mother. In order to prove before Mother that I could understand, little bit I could understand, but I could understand in the right direction. I could understand whatever little bit I could understand, but in the right direction. There is no such thing as death or cancer. There is no death as cancer. Stem cells will be found out. New therapies will be found out. Holistic therapies will be found out. Holistic medicines from stem cells will be offered. Holistic vaccine will be offered. These are all the avenues of the new race. These are all the avenues of the new race. And cancer is written here as cancer. Tuberculosis or heart failure. But there is a false consciousness, a consciousness in a false position which instantly causes cancer, tuberculosis, etc. These are the disease which are caused by the wrong position, wrong movement, wrong circulation of this consciousness, though it is so precious given to us, but it is our mind that has distorted it, and the distortion as such is reflected on our physiology, on our body, is disease. It is disease. So from stem cell, our new doctors will have to find it out, because that is the experience of the Mother while establishing this new portal for the new race to emerge. A new portal for her new body to emerge. Her new body is emerged on the cellular portal created by the Mother, proves that if it is within my body, it can be in anybody's body too. It can be in anybody's body too. It does not notice them, and there is no cancer or tuberculosis or illness, no illness of any kind. In other words, illness and death are constantly there. That is the normal human state. One simply is aware of it or one is not. Whether we may be aware of it or we may not be aware of it, it depends upon our present state of consciousness. If we are bit prepared to receive this new consciousness, our cellular portals will automatically start so vibrating that receptivity will be generated because it has been already established in the portal created by the mother. Illness of any kind. In other words, illness and death are constantly there. That is the normal human state. One simply is aware of it or one is not. All the vibrations follow their normal course. It is only the position of the consciousness which changes. It is the position of the consciousness that changes everything as such. We have to change our consciousness in order to enter into the zone of interim race, living this life mortally. We can also do it, provided we are committed to do it, provided we are determined to do it, provided our aspiration constantly arises from our cells, not from our mind. The only thing we are committed and only thing we are supposed to exercise is the aspiration, prayer. Whatever we do must arise from our cells, not from our mind. Not from our mind. If we can do it, then this Svadhyay will have some sense, will have some meaning, and will have some base which we can establish in our own consciousness. All the vibrations follow their normal course. It is only the position of the consciousness which changes. Why? It's fantastic. And Mother proves it. Mother adds to it. Mother adds all different clues to us how we can enter into the new zone of overmanhood, Sarhom, interim race. And we are also eligible in this life at present, having all these things, all these guidelines at our disposal. It is up to our determination, up to our aspiration, and up to our spirit of surrender to digest, to imbibe, to practice as Mother practiced. With a slightest practice, primary practice, we can reach the height. That height was established by the Mother for us and for the entire humanity.